What if Luke and Leia were never born? No farm boy on Tatooine, no princess with a rebel heart. Would Darth Vader be redeemed, or would he become the Emperor? This wouldn't be just two missing heroes. It's a single change that echoes through politics, war, and the soul of one man. In our timeline, Padme gives birth to twins. In this alternate thread, the pregnancy never results in surviving children. Maybe Padme dies before giving birth, or the pregnancy ends. The result is the same. Anakin would have no children, no living reminder of a love that once tempted him toward the light. That absence changes motive. Anakin's catastrophic fear of losing Padme helped drive him straight into Palpatine's arms. But the twins, Luke and Leia, would later become the mirror that redeemed him. Remove those mirrors, and you remove the single real thing that could pull him back. With no children to save or to imagine a different future for, Anakin's path into Vader would grow darker and simpler with just absolute power and control. Palpatine would still need a weapon. He would still make Anakin a Sith. But without the future family to haunt his conscience, Vader's bitterness would harden into ambition. Over time, the apprentice would learn, as he watches Palpatine manipulate the Senate. He would understand that the throne is vulnerable. It would require blood. In this timeline, Vader wouldn't betray Palpatine to save a son. He would betray Palpatine to seize what he would believe is rightfully his. Vader would know that he stands no chance against Palpatine in his condition. This would result to an assassination attempt. This would change everything. Palpatine was the architect of political theater. He used paranoia, law, and policy to entrench himself. But Vader would be a different ruler. He would be more militaristic, more fearful, and feared. He would become more feared throughout the galaxy, not just a ruler that is behind the scenes. He wouldn't rebuild the Republic, he would militarize it. The Inquisitors would continue, but now they serve an emperor who is more interested in conquering than rebuilding. Rebellions would be crushed faster because Vader understands how to use fear as a tool, and he would have no redeeming son to soften him. Now, Obi-Wan Kenobi. In canon, part of his survival and purpose after Order 66 is to watch over Luke, to be the guardian of hope. Remove Luke and Leia, and Obi-Wan's anchor snaps. Exile could become purposeless solitude and a guilt without mission. A purpose keeps a warrior sharp. Without it, the years take their toll. The patience to train, the hunger to fight, the will to resist the dark would all fade. Obi-Wan might become more reclusive and less willing to engage. And if he does rise to confront Vader, he does so without the moral leverage that Luke provided. He would show no mercy, unlike his past encounters with Vader. So, when they would meet, the duel would be different. Obi-Wan would not be fighting for two kids he swore to protect. He's fighting for memory, for vengeance, for a ghost of the Jedi Order. And Vader would no longer be just an executioner. He would be the Emperor, which would armor him in authority. With no Luke to humanize him, Vader would fight without hesitation. Without a sense of moral purpose, Obi-Wan's powers would be narrow and weak. Without Leia, the symbolic heart of the rebellion would never form the same way. Rebels would still have leaders and political strength like Bail Organa and Mon Mothma, but leadership would be fragmented. Vader's direct, ruthless rule would crush uprisings faster. The rebellion would become underground cells, smaller and less coordinated. And the propaganda changes. Where Palpatine masked brutality with law, Vader wears brutality openly. Fear is the policy. Planets that might have rallied behind Leia hesitate. The alliance of free planets as we knew it never coalesces on the same scale. Is this the final state? Not necessarily. Where there is oppression, resistance eventually forms. Rogue Jedi survivors, surviving clones, or hardened senators could kindle a rebellion. Perhaps a new hero rises. But the personal axis that led to Vader's redemption, the love of a son, the clash that broke his chains, is missing. Without Luke and Leia, Vader's path back to Anakin is a narrower, colder road. In this universe, Darth Vader doesn't die redeemed with his hand on his son's shoulder, if he dies at all, as Emperor. A monument to what absolute power does when it has no mirror to show the human beneath. And Obi-Wan? He might never find the reason he needs to stand and win. Remove two children from the story, and the galaxy's destiny twists. Heroes vanish. Empires shift. The moral of the tale becomes clear. Sometimes the smallest life can be the greatest leverage against darkness. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe for more.